But it was quite a shock because that is incredibly young.
And also, I think times are just slightly different. I used to get quite frustrated when people sort of say to you, oh, you know, you're getting older, are you just one of these career girls that doesn't want to have children, that career's more important? And that's not the case.
It's not the case, and I think nobody leaves it late on purpose. It's all a case of timing, when you meet your partner, you know, when there's a gap in your career. But I mean, for me, family was, you know, the #1 priority. But just, I didn't meet my husband until a bit later on, and we wanted to get married first. And I suppose, again, naively, I thought, well, it will be fine. But then, faced with what Mum said and faced with having the test to see how inside was looking, it was quite stressful.
Is it also a case of life is different now from our parents, especially for women?
Yes.
More opportunities, more things you can do, that you do delay having a family, you put it later on in life, but regardless of how young you look on the inside, you can't affect, on the outside, you can't affect the inside.
Yeah, well, that's it, and that's exactly what I was saying there. I mean, I think, you know, we're all living a lot longer, we're all eating a lot healthier, exercising more, taking better care of ourselves, but ultimately our biology is still very much the same, and technology can't move it on that much. It can help, of course, and science can help immensely these days. But I think, you know, nobody told me in school, I don't know about you, Holly, but nobody said, you know, yes, safe sex is important, but actually you need to know the facts about when your body's at its prime, when it's at its optimum age to recreate.
Well, the only thing they teach at school is how not to get pregnant.
Exactly.
That's what you do, you spend your whole life going, I don't want to get pregnant.
I know, and you spend your entire life, and I still was into my early 30s, thinking, oh, I can't get pregnant, can't get pregnant. And then one day you suddenly go, gosh, I really want children. And then, you know, it's a complete, it flips the whole thing on its head.
But it's not the way we're biologically built, because the primary age to have a baby is very, very young, unacceptably young.
Which seems really young these days, doesn't it?
And they're, yes, very, very young. So we're, no matter how much stress it causes, we're just not built to have families that later on in life.
No.
But technology, as you said, is changing.
It is. Yeah, but I still think, you know, there's still a limit. I mean, now I was speaking to lots of brilliant consultants who are helping couples in their late 40s, even early 50s, and they said the trends are changing. Everybody's pushing it by 10 years, you know, by 15 years. But ultimately, they said people need to be aware that if they can, the sooner the better.
Well, by the age of 35, your fertility
falls off a cliff.
It does. I mean, it drops off, but yeah, it does. It does. It plummets.
Yeah.
And that's incredibly young. I mean, that
Very,
feels young.
It does feel young, but, you know, as I say, there's lots of techniques now to help. But ultimately, inside, 35 is sort of starting to push it. You know, but having said that, people don't meet the right person sometimes, and the consultants were very quick to say it's not a dead loss though, and everybody is very different inside, depending biologically how you're made up and how you've taken care of yourself.
You said it was a documentary of discovery, so what's been your principal discovery? What have you learned?
I think the big thing I learned was we looked at, you know, lots of people that couldn't have children for different reasons. And there was a lovely girl called Jenny, and Jenny had been born without a womb. And she was devastated, obviously, wanted a family, you know, had 4 sisters who all had children. And she went out to Sweden, where there's a guy out there who's now transplanting wombs from one woman to the other.
Oh, gosh, wow.
And I think 8 babies to date have been born successfully.
Wow.
So it just shows how technology and science are really catching up and are there to help us all to create the families we want.
That sounds absolutely fascinating. The documentary Fertility and Me airs tomorrow on BBC One at 10:45, and you look after yourself.
Oh, thank you so much.
You look
Lovely to see
amazing.
you.
Oh, I
Got
love
that
it.
glow.
It's lovely to see you.
Yeah.
Thank you both.
Right, well, fertility is the subject of today's phone-in. Are you struggling to conceive and don't know what help is available to you? Maybe you're in the middle of fertility treatment and it's putting in an emotional or financial strain on your family.
Or perhaps you're concerned that you might be leaving it too late to start a family and wonder what your options are. We're joined by top fertility doctor